So, right, you can sit on a block or a blanket or a pillow, whatever works for you. But we're just going to get settled in and find a nice long straight spine. And then take your hands wherever it's comfortable for you. It can be in your lap, by your sides, palms up, palms down, whatever works. Just keeping the eyes softly closed if you're comfortable. Just start to bring the attention to your breath. Just taking nice big deep breaths in through your nose. And exhaling out your nose or your mouth, whichever you are most comfortable with. Breathing as deeply as you can. Beginning to soften your facial muscles, your neck and your shoulders. And as you're breathing and you find that your spine begins to round, just see if you can find a little bit more length. Just letting your sitting bones really become rooted to the earth. Just allowing the legs to be heavy. And just taking 2 more nice deep breaths. As you begin your next exhale, just gently blinking your eyes open, rolling the shoulders back a couple of times. We'll take a nice deep breath in, reach the arms up, bring the palms to touch if you're able to, and as you exhale, just bring the hands to your heart. Bringing in some peace and calm to start. We'll take a nice big deep breath in. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time, big deep breath in. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll release the fingertips to the floor, taking the fingertips just really, really light. And we'll just drop one ear to one shoulder. I want you to think about really relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears. Just moving into the neck. There's up and down, crazy and humid, and a lot of these smaller muscles in the body get really tight. Might get headaches easier. We'll inhale, bring the head to the center, and as you exhale, just gently drop the opposite ear towards the opposite shoulder. Just keeping the breath flowing, just nice, slow and deep. Inhale, bringing the head back to the center. Then as you exhale, just allow the chin to just drop towards the chest. And we'll take the hands to the front of your shins, right in the area. So my friends on Zoom, I forgot to ask you if you wouldn't mind just muting yourself, because it will pick up feedback from you into here and it gives us buzzing noises. So, but if you have a question at any point, please feel free to just unmute and ask away. And so we'll start with the fingertips on the shins or the knees. Take a big deep breath in, draw the heart open. So it's a little seated cat-cow. And then as you exhale, rounding your spine back. Inhale, drawing the heart forward, shoulder blades move towards one another. Exhale, rounding back. And one more time. Inhale, opening the heart. Exhale, rounding back. We'll come to a nice long straight spine. Take a big deep breath. Reach the arms up. And as you exhale, just take one arm down, reach the opposite arm up and over. Little side body bend. Soften into that bottom elbow so there's no stress on that arm. So we inhale, reaching the arms up. We'll exhale, gently move to the other side. And again, don't worry about how far you're moving, totally irrelevant. And inhale, reaching the arms up. And as you exhale, just slowly begin to release the fingertips to the floor. We'll just begin to walk forward, just a little forward fold. Now, whatever that looks like is totally fine. You don't have to be low to the ground. You can. All right, legs can be crossed. You can extend your legs. You can open into a straddle. Remember, yoga is individual. It's what feels good for you. How does your body need to move today? What does it need to feel good? Just keeping the breath flowing nice and slow and deep. Now, on your inhale, we'll begin to walk the hands in. And as you exhale, rolling the spine up. So if you're sitting cross-legged, we're going to switch the cross in your legs. If you're sitting any other way, you can keep it or change it. And just making sure that your sitting bones are nice and flat. Right, so we tend to have our habitual side to how we sit cross-legged. So this might not feel as comfortable, but that's normal. Right, so again, just sitting up nice and tall. Take a big deep breath and reach the arms up. And again, as we exhale, come back to that side body bend. One arm drops, opposite arm reaches. Just allowing the breath to move through the side of the rib cage. Inhale, reaching it up. Exhale, other side. Inhale, reaching it up. Just do one more time each side. Exhale, back to that first side. Inhale, reaching it up. Exhale to the second side. We'll inhale, reaching the arms up. Again, as you exhale, this time walking the hands forward, and then just walking forward however you can. Just saying good morning, good afternoon to your opposite hip, opposite side of your glutes, hamstrings. If at any point we are holding something too long for your particular body, just come out of it. And you don't want to hold anything too long if it's uncomfortable. And we can all tolerate different lengths within our stretches. And as we inhale, we'll begin to walk the hands in. And then we'll exhale, rolling the spine up. And we're going to come onto your hands and knees. Right, so if you need a cushion underneath your knees. You can always fold your mat or a pillow, a blanket, or towel. We're going to take the knees underneath your hips. Hands are going to be underneath your shoulders. If you have any issues with your wrists, you can curl the forefingers in and have the thumbs pointed forward. That'll keep the shoulders in that neutral alignment that they need to be without any pressure on your wrists. Rolling the shoulders away from the ears. We're going to come back to cat-cow here. We'll inhale, lower the belly, lift the tail with the chin. And as we exhale, scooping the belly up, rounding your spine. Inhale, pressing the belly down, shoulders roll back, tail moves chin moves. Exhale, rounding up as much as you can. Let's do 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. And if your breathing is not on sync with me, don't worry about it. Just want to make sure that you keep breathing. And we'll come back to a nice long stretch. Opening up the knees. If you can, bring the big toes to touch, hips towards the heels, and we'll extend the arms forward for child's pose. So anytime we come into downward facing dog, you can come into child's pose if that feels better for you. You can come into on the hands and knees and do some cat-cow instead of doing down dog into your plank, to your cobra or your up dog. But most important is just to move how your body needs to move. Right, so your child's pose is always going to be the more restful option, but if that's what you need, then that's what I want you to do. If you are doing okay, and you want to come with me to down dog, we want to bring the knees back towards one another, curl the toes under, we'll lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Rolling the shoulders from the ears, the belly pulls in, tailbone lifts up and back. Now with down dog, you don't have to have your legs straight. Right? Soften into the knees. And remember, if this makes you lightheaded at all, take the knees down, come to a table position, go to child's pose. Again, any option is a good option as long as you are listening to your body. Now on your inhale, wherever you are, we'll look to the hands. If you're in down dog, you're going to bend the knees. If you're in child's pose, you're going to lift up onto the hands. Then we're going to take your time. You're just going to walk up to the top of the mat, however you can get there. Right, take as many steps as you need. The feet are going to be about hip distance apart. You can go wider if you need to. You can also go closer if you need. Fingertips will be on the floor, front of the shins. If you have a block, you can use a block. Take a big deep breath and lengthen the spine forward. And tailbone extends back, half lift. Exhale, gently fold. One more time. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, gently fold. Now softening into the knees. Inhale, begin to roll the spine nice and slow. Take your time. As you exhale, come up to standing, roll the shoulders. So I'm going to turn. You'll just stay towards the top of your mat. Take a nice big deep breath and reaching the arms up. And again, as we exhale, we're going to come back to those half moves. So we're going to do quite a bit of these today because they're wonderful. And I love them. We'll inhale, reaching it up. We'll exhale, other side. One more time, each side. Inhaling it up. Exhale. Last time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, slowly folding it forward, back to a forward fold. And fingertips will come to the floor. Shins, thighs are your block. Take a big deep breath in, lengthening your spine. Exhale, gently fold. And we'll plant your palms. Inhale, step back into your plank. So again, you can go to your tabletop and go to child's pose. If you want to do plank, but you don't want to do full plank, you can always drop your knees. That's always an option. We want to make sure the hands are in line with the shoulders. If you have your knees lifted, press the heels back. Take a big deep breath in. And as you exhale, start to bend your elbows and slowly lower to the earth. Then take your time and unflip your toes when you get there. Inhale, draw the heart open, cobra or up dog, that's up to you. Exhale, slowly release. Curl the toes. Inhale, come back to your plank, top of the push-up, and then we'll exhale, come back, downward facing dog, child's pose, or back to your table, or your cat cow. Right? There's always so many things you can do. We'll inhale again, look to the hands. If you're in down dog, bend your knees. And we're going to make our way back to the top of your mat, taking as many steps as you need to get there. Fingertips to the floor, shins, block, thighs, whatever you need. Big inhale, lengthening your spine. Exhale, gently fold. As you inhale again, slowly soften the knees, roll the spine nice and slow. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. So from here, we're going to take our hands behind us and interlace your fingers. Now, if it's uncomfortable for your wrists to interlace, you can also take your hands onto each forearm, or if you have a towel, you can use that. We're going to take the feet wide in your hips this time, just a little wider standing position. Ground down through your feet. I want you to think about pulling the belly in and lengthening your tailbone down. You take a big deep breath and you're going to roll the shoulders back. I want you to think about bringing your shoulder blades towards one another. And then, if maybe you can lift the heart up. So I don't want you to think big backward. I want you to think open the front of your body. Now, this is uncomfortable underneath. I just look on more of a forward angle than up. For a lot of us, these are our tight places, so you're fine with the breath. It's getting shallow, just make sure you breathe a little bit deeper. Now, on your inhale, begin to soften the shoulder blades, starting to release the shoulders, coming back up to your neutral spine. Just release the hands, roll the shoulders back, and we'll step the feet back and towards one another. So big inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, gently fold, plant your palms. Then we'll inhale, step back into your plank, top of a push-up. Again, you can go down on the knees if you need to. One more inhale here. Exhale, slowly over to the earth. Again, take your time, do what you need to do. Inhale, opening your heart, cobra or up dog. Exhale, release. Inhale, back to your plank, top of a push-up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look to the hands, bend the knees. Exhale again, we're walking it forward. So again, you can get there however you need to. And fingertips to the floor, shins, block, wherever you can reach. Inhale, lengthening your spine. Exhale, gently fold. Inhale, bend the knees, slowly roll the spine up. And exhale. So you starting to feel a little warm? That was the point. Okay, so We've already clasped our hands. Now we're going to clasp in the opposite position. So we have our habitual cross, right? Where you'll have one pinky on the outside all the time. You're going to switch. It's really awkward. It's going to have the opposite pinky. That's weird. Isn't it weird? It is weird, right? Okay, so if you grab the palm, it feels even weirder. Yeah, we're just moving your shoulders in a little bit different way than what they're used to. Again, that's not a bad thing. Right? Different is not. It's just different. Okay, so this time, because we probably are getting into a little bit more tighter places, we're going to take the feet a little bit wider. And then roll the shoulders back. Take a big deep breath in. Now, I want you to think about your elbows squeezing towards one another. And you'll notice when the elbows squeeze back, the shoulder blades move towards one another. Okay? And then maybe bring the gaze up, lifting through the heart center. If you're okay, and you want to drop those knuckles down towards the earth. Right, so we're not symmetrical. Our right side may be tighter than the left, left side may be tighter than the right. Right, and that's totally normal. It'd be easy if the left side had a carbon copy of the right side, but it's not. Inhale, start to relax the shoulders, release the hands, maybe step the feet back in towards one another. And the shoulders back. So we're going to stay standing for a moment. Take a big deep breath and reach the arms out, draw the belly in as you exhale into your knees. So this is a high variation of what's called a fierce chair. If it's uncomfortable to have your arms up, you can take the hands in prayer position, you can take the hands to the hips or the thighs. Okay. This builds a lot of heat in the legs, so if at any point it's too much, that is okay. Straighten the legs and bring them back in. If I want you to glance down to your knees, make sure that your kneecaps are level to one another. The hips are moving back, the belly is drawing in, and the tailbone is lengthening towards the back of your mat. Whatever you need to do with the arms is totally fine. We'll take a big deep breath and just stretch open the legs. Reach the spine. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, gently fold. So we're going to keep your right foot where it is. On the inhale, lift your left heel. And we'll take a giant step back with your left foot. Right, so you're in a lunge position. So the right knee and ankle will be in a straight line. Your left knee can be down or up. That is totally up to you. Most important thing we want to make sure for safety of that front knee is just that the kneecap is moving towards your second and third toe. Again, if that back knee needs to be down, totally fine. We'll take that left hand underneath your shoulder. On the inhale, begin to roll that right shoulder back. And if you can, we'll reach that right arm up. If that's uncomfortable, you can always roll the right shoulder back and bring the hand behind you. This is a lunge with twist. So again, whatever you're doing with the arm is okay. Just make sure that you can breathe. Make sure there's no tension coming into the neck. On your next inhale, we're going to release that right hand down. Then we're going to lift that left leg up and then pivot your left foot out. So we're coming into what's called warrior two. So your left foot is going to be slightly angled. We want to make sure that the pinky toe side of the foot is as flat as the big toe side of your foot. Right. Before you try to lift your hands up. Make sure that you have stability in your legs. So that way you don't lift and tip over. Leading with that left arm, pull the belly in, take a big deep breath, and we'll windmill ourselves up. And then opening to warrior two. Right, so your right leg is moving towards the front of the mat. The left leg is kind of on an angle to the back of your mat. Right, the hips and the chest are moving towards the long side of the mat. Shoulders are relaxing away from the ears. And imagine that you have a big yoga ball between your thighs. I'm just going to squeeze it in. Now on your next inhale, begin to straighten that right leg. We'll reach the arms up. Now we're going to pivot and turn towards the long side of your mat. So you're going to turn your right foot towards the long side of the mat. Right, so both feet are pointing towards that left long side. Your hands are going to come to the hips. Now if you feel too wide here, just heel toe the feet in close. Take a big deep breath and lengthen the spine. Belly draws in. We'll exhale and slowly fold. And you can release the hands to the floor. You can take the hands on the legs. You can walk the hands forward into more of a shadowy down dog position. And we're going to just make sure that the feet are flat, that you have equal body weight between both feet. Right, your hands can move through the legs if that's comfortable. Right, so if you're congested today, which is very, very normal given the weather, right, holding that type of position too long is not going to be comfortable. So you can use the hands just to help lengthen the spine forward and just keep the head up instead of folding, especially if you find that your sinuses start yelling at you a little bit. Okay, now wherever you are, we'll take a nice big deep breath and lengthen the spine. We're going to soften into both knees and we'll walk hand over hand towards your right foot. So you're just going to turn yourself back into that lunge position, dropping down very gently onto that left knee. Relax your left toes and then slowly shifting the hips back, coming into what's called a runner's lunge. Right, so this comes into the hamstrings, it also stretches into the glutes, which helps release tension in the lower back. You can point and flex your toes a little bit here. And just some options if it feels good. On your inhale, take your time, slowly start to release that right foot forward as you bring the hips forward. Curl the left toes under, we'll point the palms, lift that left knee, and we're going to go back to down dog or child's pose or tabletop. Rolling the shoulders from the ears if you're in down dog. Just connecting to your breath. Inhale, look to the hands, bend the knees. Exhale, walking it back up to the top of the mat, back to your forward fold. Fingertips again to the floor, front of the shins. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, slow fold. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Now on your inhale, we'll begin to bend your knees again, just like we did for that chair pose. And as you exhale, we'll sweep the upper body up and palms together. And then take your hands to the chest. So we're going to add a twist if it's comfortable. Right, so the most important thing here is keeping your kneecaps level with one another. So For the lighter variation, we're going to lead with the right elbow, the right arm. Take the right hand towards the outside of the left leg. You want to be careful not to grab because you don't want to pull on the leg. And then you'll roll the left shoulder back. So it's a lighter variation of a twist. Okay. If you're okay and you want to take that further, you'll lead with the elbow instead. We're going to take the right elbow to the outside of the left leg. And again, any angle is good as long as you can breathe. On your inhale, turn your chest back to the center. And as you exhale, we'll go to the other side. So again, begin with that left arm. Right shoulder goes back, right arm extends. Or the hand comes behind you. Again, if you're comfortable, you can move that left elbow towards the outside of the right leg. And on the inhale, coming back to the center. Exhale, slowly fold. Inhale, lengthening the spine. And exhale, fold. So we're going to step back this time with that right foot. So left foot stays where it is. Right foot steps back, coming into that high lunge or the low lunge. This time that left knee is your forward. Right hand comes underneath your shoulders. Inhale, rolling the left shoulder back. Left arm extends, lunge with ease. And rolling that shoulder back and bringing the hand behind you. Right, so these full spinal twists, in my experience, when your lower back is just tight, where your whole body just feels tight, they're really user-friendly because it's going to move you only how far you're able to go, but it's going to loosen the tight places without force. Inhale, start to slowly release the left hand. So if you're on that right knee, you'll lift it up, and then we'll pivot out. That right foot, prepping for your warrior two. Next, again, I always like to test and make sure I have my stability and my balance. Make sure that both feet are 100% grounded. And then once you're ready, lift yourself up. Then open to your warrior two. Good. Relaxing the shoulders. And just connecting to the breath. And on the inhale, straighten that left leg, reach the arms up, and again, we're going to pivot. So all 10 toes turn towards the long side of your mat. We'll take the hands to the hips, and I'm just going to heel toe the feet in a little bit so you're not quite so wide. So we're going to come to what's called a goddess squat. So a goddess squat is a hip opener where we bend the knees. One thing that's extremely important is making sure that the center of the kneecaps is moving in the direction of your toes. Okay, so that is what's happening in your hips. So if your feet are open but your knees are not, right, back off the foot position. Great, so think like a plie position. You don't have to go that way. And we're going to take your hands to your upper thighs, and you're going to start to extend your spine forward like we're going to have a secret conversation. And then relax the shoulders. Right, so this is where I like to adjust my feet if I don't feel 100% grounded. Okay, so the belly is going to drop in. We relax the shoulders from the ears. And since I know a lot of you suffer from upper back and neck tightness and shoulder tightness, we're going to add on a thoracic spinal twist here. It's very small. So we'll take that right shoulder and start to move it in the general direction of your left foot. On the inhale, we come back to the center, and then you'll exhale to the other side. So we inhale to the center, exhale back to that first side, inhale to the center, exhale to the second side. One more time to each side. Inhale to the center. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, coming back to the center. Now carefully just turn the feet so that way they're pointed towards the long side of the mat. And again, we'll release the hands and we'll just take a fold. Allowing the shoulders to just be soft. And taking the fingertips wherever you can reach. Take a big deep breath and lengthen the spine. Exhale, gently fold. Now inhale, we'll lengthen the spine one more time. This time as you exhale, we'll walk hand over hand towards your left foot. So you're going to pivot yourself back towards the top of your mat. Coming back through that lunge position, dropping down on that right knee, and the toes can stay curled or flat, that's up to you. And then we'll shift the hips back, coming back into that runner's lunge position. Inhale, take your time, slowly beginning to press that left foot down, curling the right toes under, lift the knee, and we'll step back into your down dog, your child's pose, or your tabletop. Again, resting here if you need to. And we'll inhale, rolling forward into your plank, top of the push-up, and knees up or down. Exhale, elbows like in, slowly lower to the earth. And flip the toes. Inhale, opening the heart, cobra or up dog. Exhale, release. Inhale, coming back to your plank. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Wherever you are, inhale, look to the hands. If you're in down dog, we'll bend the knees. Then as you exhale, we're just going to walk forward and then come on down and have a seat. How are we doing so far? Everybody okay? Yeah. So I love to sit on a blanket for seated poses. For me, it just helps give me a little height for my hips, helps me keep my back straighter. So totally up to you. I always recommend it. So I didn't get to do in the last class the seated stuff that I had been planning to do because I just ran away with the standing stuff. So today we're going to do more seated stuff. So we're going to extend the legs, and I want you to find your sitting bones, right? So if you kind of move the flesh out of the way, right, you'll find your sitting bones. We want to sit up nice and tall. If it's uncomfortable to have your legs completely straight, that you can always take a pillow underneath your knees. And flexing the feet, take a big deep breath and reach the arms up. I want you to think reach up, out, and then down, coming into a forward fold. Once you find your, this is as far as I can bend position, try to soften the shoulders, maybe turn the palms up. Right? It's natural to want to reach the feet and kind of pull yourself down. Right? But I'm going to ask you to just find where it feels really, really good. And can you soften into those places? And can you allow the shoulders to just really melt down? BKS Iyengar, who created Iyengar Yoga, was quoted one time as saying, if you can only do two poses, do seated forward fold and relaxation. Because in his opinion, this was the number one pose to do for releasing tension in your spine. And that was well before there were computers. Using the hands to help, we'll take a nice big deep breath and start to lift the spine up. And then roll the shoulders. Now from here, we're going to come into what's called a double pigeon, which can be a single position or a double position. It sounds way scarier than it actually is. So we'll take one leg and you're just going to bend that one leg in. Okay, so for single pigeon, I want you to think seated tree pose. One leg will be straight, the opposite leg will be in, bringing the foot up towards your thigh as best as you can, and you're just going to walk yourself forward. Again, I want you to think just really soft, really gentle, and relax the top of the head. Okay, for the double variation, we will stack the knees and the arches of the feet. This is also called firewood. Right, so the knees and the arches will stack. So if you're here and there's a space, you could always put a block into that space. Relax the shoulders, and you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to soften yourself forward and fold to whatever degree you can. And even though we all have hips, our hips move differently. Just remember, the only goal of yoga is to feel better, to take care of yourself, to nurture yourself. That's the foundation of yoga, healing. And wherever you are, we'll take a big deep breath and start to walk the hands in. And then as you exhale, just begin to roll the spine up. And we'll switch our legs. So if you're in that single variation, you'll just stretch out the opposite leg and bring the other leg in. Okay. Again, if you want to go to the double pigeon variation, and you'll stack the knees and the arches, and just be mindful that one side might work and one side might not. That's, again, totally normal. Relaxing the shoulders, take a big deep breath in. And wherever you are, just start to slowly fold yourself. And again, just stopping at whatever angle, whatever degree feels best. Keeping the breath nice and slow and deep. On your next inhale, we'll begin to walk the hands in. And then as you exhale, just begin to just roll the spine up. So we're going to take one more forward fold. Again, this can be done with the legs extended. If you want to take a bound angle pose and bring the insides of the feet towards one another, right? It's just another option. You can always sit cross-legged if you prefer. And just take the hands wherever you can reach, lengthening through the spine. Take a big deep breath in. And again, as we exhale, just folding in whatever degree is doable. Breathe. Inhale, take your time, slowly begin to lengthen the spine up. And as you exhale, I'm just going to have you sit however you are very comfortable. So it can be whatever works for you. I'm going to do a little bit more for the neck, the shoulders, the upper back, and the chest, and the upper arms, and then we're going to come on to our back. So we're going to come into what's called eagle. And there's a lot of different ways to come into this. So I'm going to show you the light variation and then just walk you through the next steps. So we want to always start with a nice long straight spine. We'll open the arms up, turn the palms up. I want you to think, give yourself a hug, right? So just remember whatever arm is on top, because when you do it the second side, you just want to make sure that you have the opposite arm. Okay. So we're just going to slowly, you're going to cross and just reach your arms around your back, giving yourself a hug. Relax into the shoulders. Right, so this is your first stopping place. I simply just call this the hug, because you're giving yourself a hug. Right. One thing that feels good, especially if you're really tight, really stressed, you've had surgery recently, is taking a little baby cat-cow from this position. Right. So you'll inhale, and again, it's super tight. You'll lengthen the spine up, and then exhale and round the spine back. So again, it doesn't look like much, but it really gets into the spine, the shoulders, the hips really nicely. So again, if this needs to be your stopping place, just hang out here and just ignore me for the next part. If you want to go for the eagle, right, you'll notice here that your elbows are already crossed or stacked on top of one another. Right. From here, you'll lift the forearms up and take the hands back the palm to back, and then relax the shoulders. Right, so if you get here and there's any discomfort in the shoulders or the neck, right, don't move forward, back up a little bit, and just come back to that hug. If you're here and you're feeling pretty good, that lower hand is going to crisscross and come around as if you're going to tap the forward palm. So think of inside of a hot pretzel. That's what you're doing with your arms. Right, so if you work on a computer a lot, this position might not really work well for you. It might be uncomfortable. So it's okay, just go back of the palms to back of the palms. But we always want to make sure that the fingers are long. Okay, so don't worry about clasping your hands, because oftentimes you'll actually bend the wrists and then put pressure on the wrists. So we want to keep the hands nice and long. Make sure that you're breathing. Wherever you are, we'll slowly begin to unwind. Just open the arms up towards the sides. And then we're just going to hug opposite direction. And then just relax the shoulders. And you can stay here, and you can add on that little baby cat. If that feels really good. Okay. Always remembering that you don't have to do the same exact thing on the right and the left side if it doesn't work. Right? Don't force. And if you need to be here on this side, but you did the full eagle on the other side, but it doesn't work on this side, that's okay. It will in time. Right? That's why it's called a yoga practice, not a yoga perfect. Right? Because we practice and our body is different every day. You can stay right here. If you want to move to the eagle, we'll lengthen the forearms up. And back of the palm to back of the palm. I'm going to take that final piece, that outside hand is going to turn and wrap towards the inside palm. You're just taking a few nice deep breaths. To inhale, releasing the arms. And just rolling the shoulders back a couple of times. And we're going to make our way down onto our backs. And so if you have your hair in a ponytail, you might want to loosen it or take it out, just to make sure that your neck stays in line with the rest of you. And sometimes our ponytail can actually mess up our hairline, our spinal alignment. Right. Messy hair, who cares, right? You don't typically have messy hair. And so we're beginning with just bending the knees. And again, I'm going to give you a couple of different options depending on what you feel you need at this point. Okay. So if you just need a couple of moments to just breathe and just let your body relax, do that. Okay. If you want to join me for a bridge pose, we're going to begin to release the fingertips towards the floor. Start to press into the feet, and then just see if you can lift your hips up. Right, so you don't have to go very far. Right, if the feet are farther out, you might only lift a little bit, and that's okay. You're going to get a good release through the front of the hips, through the bottom of the psoas muscle where it connects into your hip bones. But I want you to think about a yoga block being between your thighs and squeeze the thighs in towards one another rather than the knees opening out. If you want to take this a little bit deeper, again, that's totally up to you. You want to release down first. You're going to walk your feet in closer, and it's usually to where you can just kind of lightly touch your heels with your fingertips. Right? You don't want to bring the knees up, the feet in too close. Round down into the feet. Again, you're going to inhale, and you're going to lift the hips up as you squeeze the thighs in towards you. So again, it's just a little bit deeper. Sometimes deeper is good, sometimes it's not. And so just go with how it feels and release anytime you need to. And if you want to walk the shoulders under and bring the stretch more into the full spine, into the chest, you can do that. You can reach the fingertips around the heels and really lift the belly up. But again, it's all on what feels good for you. And just keeping your gaze up towards the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are. If the shoulders are rolled under, we want to release those first. And then starting from the upper spine, we'll slowly begin to roll the spine down so that the hips release last. If you've walked your feet in closer, we're just going to walk the feet out a little. Right, so rather than bringing the knees to the chest, we're just going to take a little windshield wiper position for the legs. So we'll open the arms to the sides. We'll begin to turn your left foot to the outside of the foot so the left knee drops, and turn the right foot to the inside of the left foot, or I'm sorry, towards the inside, so that way the knees are going to drop towards the left. Now on the inhale, slowly bring your knees back up, feet planked, and as you exhale, you'll drop to the other side. Right, so you're here, you're on the outside of the right foot, inside of the left foot. Right, so think slow windshield wipers. And this is for internal and external rotation of your hips. Right, so if you walk a lot, or you run a lot, or you cycle a lot, or you do anything a lot, right, this is one of the most important things that you can do for your hips to help keep your hips and your lower back really, really with good mobility. And again, you don't have to have a huge range of motion. It's not about range of motion. It's just about good mobility. Right? Getting into those tight places and lovingly move them without force. And then the next time you come back up with the feet flat, you're going to begin to walk the feet in. And then just bring the knees into your chest one at a time. Just give yourself a good hug, rock side to side, forward and back. Whatever you need, just giving your spine a nice massage. We'll begin to open up the arms to the sides. And just move both knees, drop to the right. Coming into just one last little supine twist before you relax. Bring the knees slowly back in towards the chest. And then we'll exhale and just drop the knees to the left. Inhale, take your time, slowly rolling back onto your spine. Just give yourself one more really good hug. And just taking your time will be to release your feet back to the earth. I'm going to have you take a moment and just begin to let your body find a comfortable place that you can relax into. Whatever it is. Begin to close your eyes. And to bring the attention to the sound of your breath. Just allowing the body to become heavy with every exhale. Relaxing your forehead. Relaxing the muscles around your eyes. Softening cheeks and your jaw. Softening through the neck, the shoulders. Letting your arms be completely heavy. Feeling the rib cage rise as you inhale, soften as you exhale. Letting the hips just melt into the earth. Just allowing for any tension to just drain down the legs, mount your toes. Whole body is just heavy with peace, heavy with calm. Giving yourself permission, just let go of whatever is not meant to be yours to carry. Just allowing your breath to deepen. Beginning to bring the attention back to your physical body. Bring some slow and gentle wiggles to your fingers and your toes. Bring some slow and gentle wiggles back to your fingers and your toes. And to bring some movements back into your arms and your legs. Just moving very, very slowly and very gently. Just beginning to draw the knees back in towards your chest. And just pause for a moment. Just remember to say thank you to yourself for all that you are, all that you do, for all the roles that you play in your life, and all the people you take care of. It's so easy to put ourselves last. And I think it's almost become the acceptable thing to do sometimes, especially for women. But our yoga practice reminds us that we have to keep ourselves healthy and feeling good in order to actually show up in our lives to do all the roles that we do. Just remember to always say thank you to yourself, just as you would to anybody else. Just gently either rock side to side or forward and back, whatever is most comfortable for you. And as you are ready, just begin to make your way back to a comfortable seat. Just finding a nice long straight spine. Bring the palms together, thumbs into the heart. Taking a nice big deep breath. Exhale, release. We'll take the thumbs between your eyebrows for peaceful, calming thoughts. To the lips for words of truth and kindness. And back to your heart for unconditional love. Always to yourself first, and then spreading to all you love. One more big deep breath. Exhale, release. Open eyes. Thank you all so much for helping us support Pink Ribbon Yoga Foundation. So far, we have raised enough to send a woman to the retreat in August. So that's a huge goal. So thank you all so much for being part of it. So appreciate it. Namaste. Namaste. So Thank you. So I know I'll be on Zoom. Hang on, I know I'm really dark.